Hanz Learnz, HTML, Part 7.
Okay, now that we got our image in place, to me it's kind of boring sitting here just on top of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe we could jump ahead and learn a little CSS and move this image to this side of the page here.
What's CSS?
CSS is the sister language to HTML, and it's short for Cascading Style Sheets.
Cascading Style Sheets.
Just think style sheets. It basically allows you to style your web pages.
Oh, to move things around?
That's one thing you can do, and a lot more. So let's we'll take a little sneak peek ahead, and we're going to look at some CSS.
Great.
So we're in our code here, and we're going to just apply a little bit of CSS to our image to move it around. And you do that by using the style attribute. Style attribute is an attribute that exists, or can be applied rather, to any tag in HTML. You can apply it to the image, you can apply it to the headers, to the paragraphs, etc.
Anything?
Anything. All this tells a web browser is that in between these quotes, we're going to put some CSS style information.
Okay. So
one we're going to put in is something called the float.
Float. Like a root beer float.
And it floats elements, and an element could be an image, it could be a header, it could be an H2. It floats it to the left or to the right of a page.
Wow.
So this is called property. We go float, and then the colon.
Yeah.
And then we tell where we want it to float to.
Now I notice you left the space after the colon.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I just left it for the sake of clarity.
Right.
You can go like that. As long as you have your colon here, and at the end you have your semicolon, and that acts like a period.
Those are just the rules.
Exactly. So we'll learn more about the CSS stuff later on. But
yeah.
For now, you know the basics. So let's take a look at what IE does.
Put it on the right.
Exactly. Now you watch the image floats, keeps floating.
It stays where you put it.
On the right. Even though we see here it's pushing up against this, but as we expand the window, it keeps floating towards the right.
You tell it to stay on the right, and it stays there.
So that's pretty cool, but let's say we wanted this to not float so close to this edge over here.
Right. You mean the right edge?
This right edge. We need a little space here, a little margin.
Yeah.
So we can do that with CSS again.
I like CSS.
So let's do it. So we're going to go right after our period, our semicolon, which is a period in CSS.
Right.
And we're just going to say margin.
Margin.
Dash right. So basically margin on the right side.
Margin on the right.
And we're going to say 150 px.
150 pixels.
Exactly.
So we want to leave a margin on the right of 150 pixels.
So let's take a look and see what it looks like.
Oh, it leaves a space. Now, if you make the box smaller, what happens? The space is there.
Keeps this 150 pixels here.
That's a lot of control that it gives you.
It gives you pixel accurate control.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. So this is one trick we can use. We could also, margin is 150 pix. So what this does, this applies this margin to every side of the image. So we go back to our image here.
Everywhere.
So 150, 150, 150, 150.
You mean all around only the image?
Exactly. So let's do that. So let's launch this.
Right.
Run, launch IE.
Oh, I see.
And the image is just floating out there.
It's completely isolated.
Yeah.
Like a planet in the moon.
So it just moves to the side. And that's it. So that's a very powerful tool that we have in CSS. And it's used oftentimes to move images and text around. It's also used to build actual pages, left, right, columns, and everything. So for instance, we go to one of my sites.
Yeah.
Right here. Let's get this in view. And you look here, this column here is actually a division. That's another tag in HTML we're going to learn. It's floated to the right using CSS. So it creates this two-column layout.
It's separate from the rest, I mean.
Exactly. So we have a little bit of organization. And in fact, this entire layout that you see on this web page is actually made possible largely because of HTML.
Yes.
Excuse me, because of CSS. You need HTML too, of course.
Very practical. And it's not so complicated, right?
No, it isn't.